Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 favourite Tim Allen movies. Since the Santa Claus is It, which is a sequel series to the Santa Claus trilogy, is coming out on Disney Plus tomorrow, I thought I could talk about my favourite Tim Allen movies since while he's great in, shows like Home Improvement and Last Man Standing, he's got some good movies too and quite a few guilty pleasures for me, but let's get to it. Here's my top 10 personal favourite Tim Allen movies. Coming at number 10 is Joe Somebody. Joe Somebody is a pretty underrated film. This is where Tim Allen plays a divorced father called Joe Sheffer, who gets hit by an employee called Mark McKinney, played by Patrick Warburton, and then he trains himself for a rematch to defend himself. There's some funny moments too with him and his daughter called Natalie, who's played by Hayden Panettiere, and I enjoyed their chemistry together, so yeah, it's a good film in my opinion. Number 9 is Christmas with the Cranks, and yes, I know, I like this film. I know the premise is kind of silly with this couple skipping Christmas just to go on a cruise, but I have a guilty pleasure for it, and I enjoyed Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis as the main couple in this film, along with Dan Aykroyd, Cheech Marin, and Jake Boozy in supporting roles. And I watched this for the first time last Christmas, so I'll be rewatching it as many Christmases as I can, and yeah, I have a guilty pleasure for it. Number 8 is Wild Hogs. Again, another guilty pleasure film. It's silly, but it's a fun road trip movie starring Tim Allen, John Travolta, Martin Lawrence, and William H. Macy as these 4 guys that go on a motorcycle trip to California and run into a fierce biker gang along the way. Like I said, it's silly, but I always have a good time when I watched it for the first time 7 months ago, and I'm always happy to watch it again. Anyways, number 7 is Never Give Up, Never Surrender, Galaxy Quest. I've talked about this movie quite a couple times, and it's one of my favourite sci-fi comedies and one of my favourite parody films. I like how it's this Star Trek parody about these aliens, that come to Earth and think it's a historical documentary, and they want these actors from the show to be real space heroes. It's a great idea for a film. It's got a great cast, like of course Tim Allen, Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver, Sam Rockwell, Tony Shalhoub. They're all brilliant in this film, and it's another one of my favourites. I've talked about it a couple times. Number 6 now is for Santa Claus 2. The Santa Claus 2 is a pretty underrated sequel in my opinion. Santa Claus 3 was sort of shit, but I love the first 2 Santa Claus films. And I'm excited for the sequel series tomorrow. Can't wait to watch that. The second one is the one where Scott Calvin is looking for a wife to be Mrs. Claus. I like that idea. It works well, and it's an underrated sequel. But now that I've talked about Santa Claus 2, coming at number 5 is Santa Claus One. For Santa Claus One, it's definitely one of my favourite Christmas movies, and I like how it's about where Scott Calvin at first doesn't want to be Santa Claus and doesn't believe in Santa Claus, but when he puts on the suit, he is the new Santa Claus, and with the help from his son Charlie, he learns how to be Santa Claus and when it comes to making children happy, and that's a very good idea for a film. It's very unique. I love it. Number 4 is now the Toy Story films, starting with Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 is still really good. I know some people kind of called it unnecessary, but I still thought it was a good last film in the franchise with its story about Woody learning what it's like to be a lost toy when he reunites with Bo Peep, and I like the new characters such as Forky, Ducky, and Bunny, and it has a good conclusion and a bittersweet ending with Woody parted ways with Buzz and the rest of the gang, and it's a good film in my opinion. Anyways, number 3 is, of course, Toy Story 3. Again, fantastic and also emotional, since this is the one where Andy is all grown up and is going to college, and the toys end up in a daycare where they find out it's a prison run by this evil teddy bear called Lotso, so we have to escape and get back to Andy's. The Spanish Buzz scene was pretty funny too, and the ending, again, very emotional, since it's where Andy gives Woody, Buzz, and the rest to this new girl called Bonnie, and the scene where Woody says, "So long, partner," always tugs on my heartstrings. It's one of the best Pixar sequels. But anyways, number 2 is Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2, again, great sequel. This is the one that introduced us to Jessie, Bullseye, and some other characters. As always with all these films, great funny moments, and like with every other Toy Story film, it's just amazing. But my number 1 favourite Tim Allen movie is, of course, Toy Story 1, To Infinity and Beyond. What can I say that many people haven't said about this film already? It's one of the most quoted animated films of all time. It has amazing life lessons, great characters, amazing friendships between Woody and Buzz Lightyear, and it's one of the best, man. It will always be one of the best Pixar films, and I've talked about it a lot, so it's my favourite. It's hands down my favourite Tim Allen movie. I don't need to say anything else other than that. So yeah, that's my top 10 favourite Tim Allen movies. So what are your favourite Tim Allen movies? Tell me down in the comments, and as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.